Prison in itself, I know. Stuck between the bars, strong hands gone. But you can never go back. Struggle to survive, and you're still alive. Even if you've been misled, tell your dreams again. Carry on. Even if you can't forget, take a quick look at some of your regrets. Laying up the bricks now, as if you need a wall. Just start the fall. Your bones are not even broken yet, so push yourself through without your regret. Carry on. Even if you've been misled, tell your dreams again. Carry on. Even if you can't forget, take a quick look The time is now. Restless minds. I'm not busted down. Restless minds is all we got. I'm not fixing all that stuff today.
What's up, guys? Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you doing? It's been a rough one, but we're getting it. We're doing it. We're making it happen. Wanted to open up this morning with open questions. I've been fielding a lot of questions in private message and stuff like that concerning. A lot of it is concerning like add-on relays and stuff like that to the CNC wood routers. It's one of those things. I feel a certain way about it because I muddle my way through using relays. I honestly don't understand the full interaction between the Arduinos and the relay packets. I shouldn't say I don't understand them. I understand them, but the actual action just hasn't clicked with me. Like I still have to look up wiring diagrams and stuff like that. Like right now I'm trying to make a 32 I'm trying to make a 32 trigger relay box. So I need 32 relays, and I need some of them have to have their own power supplies. and some of them can have shared power supplies, but each relay has to have its own trigger. And I've never hooked up multiple Arduino Unos. I'm not sure how I want to program an Arduino Mega, and I don't know if I want to use like a multiplexer setup. So there's a lot of really technical stuff there that I'm not really sure how I want to go about this project. What we'll be doing is I am actually thinking of adding a CNC trolley system to the CNC for Newbies router. And nothing's set in stone. I'm not saying that I'm doing it right now. I'm thinking about it. So I'm trying to map out what the actual schematics would look like, what the hardware would look like, and things of that nature. You know, a lot of people mix up a lot of stuff with CNC, and they think CNCs have to be mills or lathes or something of that nature. And a CNC machine can be as simple as this egg bot. This is a CNC machine, and it's really nothing major. There's the control board right there. It's an Arduino Duet knockoff, I believe. It has 3 motors. It has 2 stepper motors and a servo motor. But that's a simple CNC machine. It runs 3 axes. It's nothing spectacular or earth shattering, but it is a CNC machine. I got another one. Let me grab my camera, Dolly. Here, this is actually another CNC machine. This one's actually just a 2-axis, and it's to control move my camera around and do tracking shots with my camera. So there's actually there's a setup in here with a planetary gearbox. There we go. There's just a bearing and a gear cog set. And then here is the stepper motor with the cog to actually turn this. So this sits on there. It's cogged together. And the control board, well, before that, here's the other motor and the belt pulley. And the belt just goes around this idler pulley and actually sits right inside this channel here. Okay. And then the motion tracking is handled by these V wheels. And then this is another duet board with 2 A4 drivers. I think they're A4895s. Let's see here. But those are all those are all different types of CNC machines. So, you know, a CNC crane is not anything major. What's major is the trigger packet to activate the suction, or the magnetization, or however you plan on lifting your materials. For the router, I'm looking at vacuum, and I'm looking at probably, I don't know, 16 3-inch cups. And I'm hoping to have each one of those cups able to be programmed, where I can put them on their own motor mounts and move them. That's my hope. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's my hope. And then from there, I'll be able to have the actual machine itself will lift the sheets up and down, forward, back, left, and right. So the crane itself will be a 3-axis CNC machine, but then I'll have 16 triggerable relays that will activate motors on each suction, and then I'll have 16 suctions that I have to trigger individually. So that's where the hard part's going to come in, is what triggers are going to be turned on in what order. So just trying to get that stuff squared away. Like I said, I've gotten a lot of questions on the relay aspects, and that's one of the things that I'm working on with relays. Then we got the CNC for Newbies machine running. I posted a video with the velocity with the velocity at 1,000 inches a minute. So that was actually really cool to see that. What else? That's about it there. So, let's see. Do we got any questions out there? Let's open up the floor. I don't know what my lag time is going to be. I would assume Rich and Kevin can both give me questions, considering Kevin's got a project going on and Rich is getting ready to have a big project going on. Oh, it has been a rough one. So while we wait, I guess let's do a tutorial maybe. Yeah, we can do a tutorial. So let's share our screen here. All right. So I like this design. And for that design, we want to actually apply it to a mirror. So we're going to do our favorite paint.net. We're going to go to image. We're going to resize the image. We're already at 300 DPI. Let's take it down to 200. That's 3. Back up at 300, and let's up that to 10. Okay. Now we're going to come in, paintbrush. We're going to go 100. Right click for the white. We don't want that. We're going to come in with the magic wand tool. We're going to click on this red, hit the shift key, and click, left click. That selects all of the red in this image. We're then going to come to tools, paintbrush. We're going to up this to 500. And we're going to turn this black. All right, we're going to hit Control I. And we're going to go white across everything by right clicking the left mouse or right mouse button. Okay, we're in a total black and white now. Unselect this to make sure it looks good. Everything looks golden. We're going to go up. We're going to save as. We're going to save it as a save it as a JPEG. We're done there. It's that simple. All right, we now have our black and white. We can delete that. We can delete that. We're then going to open up our CNC softwares. We're going to go down to Vinyl Master. Today's coffee is Morning Joe. That's actually the name of it, is Morning Joe. So, and I'm drinking out of 2 different cups. I have my Norfolk Southern cup here. And this is a pretty special cup because my wife's father that passed away, this was actually his cup, and he used when he was working on the railroad. So Kevin wants to know, what small 3D machine would you recommend buying for the first machine? What kind of machine are you looking for? Are you looking for a 3D printer, a milling machine, a lathe, a router, a laser, a plasma? You know, a small plasma is a 2 foot by 2 foot plasma. A small router can be, 4 inches by 8 inches, something of that nature. Okay, he says 3D printer and laser. So you want one of each machine or all in one? And I steer people away from the all-in-ones because they make too many compromises. So for me, if you're looking for a laser, I like to build them. You can easily build them. You can get a kit off Banggood for roughly $250 with the laser. Without the laser, you can get them for $150. For 3D printers, you can for 3D printers, you can get a nice ANET A8 or an Ender 3, Creality CR10s. Those are really good machines. The Artillery is a good machine. What's your budget looking like? That's another thing. What type of material do you want to engrave, cut, or print? You know, there's a, but probably going separate. I would, Kevin, I would go separate if I were you. I would start out, a good starting machine is an Ender Pro 3, or a Creality CR10 for 3D printer. And then a good intro laser is like an Alex Maker or an Alex Maker knockoff kit. You put them together. The 3D printer pretty much comes in like 2 to 3 pieces. My Sunloos, I think they're under $500, and you put the uprights on it and it's together. It's like 6 bolts to put it together, and that's a Sunloo S8. The Alex Maker lasers, they're a fully assembled kit. You have to follow the instructions to assemble them, but they're fairly good. They're fairly easy to do. So that's my recommendation to get started with. And if you want to talk more, you're more than welcome to give me a call. You got my number. We can talk specifics and everything like that. So that's that. Let's pop back over here. We're in Vinyl Master DSR. We're going to import our JPEG file. Okay. We're going to vectorize this bad boy. There is a lot of information on this. We're going to turn smoothing and corners up. We're going to see what kind of detail we got. What do our edges look like? All that doesn't look bad at all. That actually looks really good. So we're going to export it as a DXF. In inches. Okay. Kev says, okay, will do. All right, we're done with this. All right, we're going to go into VCarve. You guys will notice I ditched all my old versions of VCarve. Let's see, 12 by 12 by 0.25. That's the size of my mirror. Let's import that. Let's make that height 11 inches. Close that. That doesn't look bad. I'm actually going to hit Control-Alt-Delete. We're going to go in. We're going to open this in our plasma cutting software. We're going to select all, and we're going to hit H004. And that looks pretty good. Okay. We're going to export this. Overwrite that one. Close. Go back into VCarve. Open this. We're going to resize it again. And we're going to zoom in. Zoom back out. We're going to hit Shift. Now we're going to go over. We're going to remove this tool. We're going to add we're going to try and add laser on glass. I'll have to go down to my laser tools. Laser on mirror. 28.9, 255. There's no chip load. Okay. Apply. Select. We're going to roster. We're going to go at 45 degrees, no profile pass. We're going to calculate this. Now, one thing I need to point out is because we're doing this on mirror, we're flipping the image on the back. We need to flip this image if we want it to come out just as we see it here. With this image, we don't have to worry about it because it is a symmetrical design. So John's in here. Oh, I don't know why my audio cut out, John. I know if you're watching on Facebook, Facebook is really glitchy this morning. There were a couple announcements made before I went live. The Facebook was intermittent on the lives. They're actually trying to remedy it right now. So if it cuts out, I'm sorry. Can you run multiple 3D printers on the same program for faster production? No. Kev, I'm trying to understand what you want to do. If you're trying to make one part faster or if you're trying to make a whole assembly faster. So I have 4 3D printers. I actually run all 4 of them at the same time. They just use little micro SD cards that I put on my design computer. I download the file that I want to print on that, and then I print. And I go from there. So, yeah. So that's that. Let's see what we got here. This thing's doing a lot of thinking right now. So what we're going to do, go into Task Manager. We're going to end task, end task, end task. We're going to go into software. We're going to go down to vCarve. We're going to create the file. We're going to import. We're going to make that 11 inches tall. We're going to close that. We're going to center that. Now, something that I didn't do that I could have done, this is still going to take a long time to process, but I didn't vector validate. So we have 3 intersections. Let's close that. All right, let's close that. Let's go into node edit mode. Let's delete that point. Let's control all. Let's do another vector validate. Let's close that. Let's go into a node edit. Let's delete that point. Let's escape this. Let's control all. Vector validate. Go here, zoom in. Let's close that. Go here, delete point. Okay. All vectors are closed. Now let's clean this up a lot. There we go. Looks better. Okay. With everything selected, we're going to go through and do this again. What's up, Mark? How are you doing, sir? Yo, Mark, you did a great job on that AR-15 file. I think you did exactly what needed to be done just by looking at the superficial picture. Sorry, guys. All right. We just need to go 001 on this, remove this, select end mills, laser, mirror, 9, select roster, 45 degree, no profile, and we're going to calculate it. Look at how much faster that's calculating. It's still not great. I mean, there's a lot of information in this thing. and it's going to take it probably a good 4 or 5 minutes to process all that. And it might actually freeze up the memory cache. Okay, I understand now. Was curious about running 3 of them at the same time, printing the same part just for faster turnaround instead of waiting on one machine. Oh, absolutely, Kev. That's exactly what I do is like if I have a production run of stuff. So we have a lot of Amish people around me. We're right in the middle of Amish country in Pennsylvania, and they can't use grid power, so they can't actually tie into an electrical system that's used by regular communities. But what they can do is they can use battery or propane power. Okay, so what they do is they retrofit a lot of their appliances with DC motors to run on like a DeWalt battery pack, and then they have a solar charger system. And my brain just shit the bed. So they have a battery hookup, so they use DC motors to run their parts. So they need plastic attachments for the motors to go into the actual appliance. Once the appliance is retrofitted, it operates on a regular 18-volt battery. So they have me 3D print their mounts for the motors to the appliance and go from there. And that's where we're at. That's all the fun stuff. So usually whenever they do something like that, they'll order anywhere from 100 to 500 of them. And like one guy specializes in blenders, and another guy specializes in toasters, let's say, something like that, whatever the case may be. But they'll have a line of people waiting for them in their community. And so they come to me and they're like, hey, I need 500 of these. Okay. And I'll buy all the filament to make the project. And I'll basically just run all 4 printers the whole time. And I run my printers 24/7, and that's just something that, it's an easy way. I mean, it cost me roughly, for that blender part that I make, it cost me $1.28 in plastic, I think. And I print 24 of them at a time on each printer. And I usually have 3 of those printers, the 3 Sunloos, running those parts. And then I charge them $7 a part. So I'm not touching anything after I get the STL file. I create the STL file in Mesh Mixer and go from there. And it's usually a pretty good payday. They order, the blender guy usually orders them by the 150 per motor. He has 3 different motors, and he'll order 150 of each mount at a time. And that's how you can get them making you money. And that's basically setting up a printer farm. You know, whenever you're setting up a printer farm, you basically just keep looking at what's next to print and how much can I print. There are options to print machine clamps and fixtures and stuff like that. Like I'm actually getting ready to print a metal fixture, so it'll go on my milling machine and it will hold a metal block so that it will have pins on it that will push and align in 3 spots. I'll be able to mill my internal pockets that then have 3D printed retainers and a bolt. It bolts down, holds it, and then once that's bolted down and held, I can remove the outside clamps and then machine the perimeter. And it's just a matter of understanding how to fixture and how to make things work for you. You'll be able to do exactly that. There's also something to be said for making and understanding fixtures in that aspect. But you can 3D print strong fixtures. I mean, if I do impregnated carbon fiber prints, those damn things are pretty strong. And then I just put my bolt holes and different setups and attachments like that, and it locates everything and away we go. So 3D printers are pretty awesome. I think John has a 3D printer, or maybe a few. Because John, I'm not sure if you milled your robotic arm or if you 3D printed yours. I forget. I want to say you 3D printed yours in like black and orange, maybe. I know I 3D printed mine in black, orange, white, and I had some pink in there from some of the stuff that I was doing for that. But yeah, anyways, I 3D printed. Okay, black and red. That's what it was. John actually did a black and red robotic arm, and he 3D printed it. So Kev, you can actually look and see what we're talking about. All right, guys, here's the code that was generated. That thing is going to look amazing. All right. Now go back to 2D view, go to pocket, same thing. This time we're going to go -45 and profile pass last and calculate. And that's how we're going to do that. And so on the laser aspect, the reason why I do rosters is because if I happen to miss any steps or it burns light, I can actually cross hatch that and it's going to help hide it. It does take a little bit longer, but it gives a much better burn and it looks much better in the finished product. Um, so yeah, Kev, I'm glad I could help you with your question. Um, man, Mark, what kind of questions do you have? You have a lot of really cool questions on actual machine building and assembly. Um, Richie, you have a lot of questions on CNC routers. So, guys, ask some of those questions. Let's get some of this stuff out there. Um, the 3D printing stuff is great. And Kevin, if you have more questions to ask or want to understand it more, please ask. That's what that's what these morning shows are about for me. Is it's getting the knowledge fresh in my head, and then B, allowing me to share that with you, so that I can articulate it in my own brain. Um, I've had a recent setback with my my thinking, my memory, and stuff like that. So now what we look at is, uh, if I can process that information and get it to my long-term memory, uh, I've now been able to I've now been able to make that a part of my daily operations. So I can just go back and think about that. And same for you guys. Whenever you're asking questions, take those answers, process them, and then talk to somebody else about it. And that will help you process it and make it a common part of your understanding. Kevin asks, are you guys updating any parts on 3D printers to make it better? Absolutely. Now, as far as my 3D printers go, I do not, just because I don't do enough of that and it's not in my wheelhouse. But um, there's Frank and Carlito, Uncle Carlito, that's on. Those guys do some major upgrades to their 3D printers. Uh, like Carlos's 3D printers, he has like some of the best hot ends. He runs exotic materials through them. Um, he has larger beds, larger format beds, and stuff like that. So, he has, his print farm is something that I wish I had. Um, yeah. So that's just kind of where that's at. Um, you can upgrade the motors, you can upgrade the drivers, you can upgrade the control board, you can upgrade the hot end, you can go direct drive instead of Bowden tube drive. Um, I mean, there's a ton of things you can do to a 3D printer, Kev. Um, and as you get into 3D printing, you'll find, you can get better heat beds, you can get better hot ends, uh, you can you could do a lot of different things with a 3D printer. Um, John's absolutely right. They have multiple head printing now. They also have multiple color printing. That's not really something new, but it's becoming more commonplace for consumer grade rather than like industry grade. Um, the conveyors, the new CR10 Infinity is freaking amazing. Let me see if I can pull that up. CR10 conveyor printer. This is what's called a conveyor belt printer. Hold on here. So this isn't exactly the one, but Kev, if you see this, it will make it, roll it, and it just keeps printing. So you can actually put a PLA beads hopper on it. And what that does is it will extrude a stream of PLA plastic out of a hopper. So you can actually print longer and more finite. This is the one that I was thinking of. And if you look there, it just keeps spitting stuff out. And that's actually something I want to upgrade to make stuff on my 3D printers, just for the simple fact that I like that kind of stuff. The fact that it will just keep running and running and running. You may run a 4-day part, and all you have to do is have a catch basket for it. Right. John said a hopper allows you to add more material without stopping. And you basically just pour in a pile of beads. You put a bigger hopper on there, or you put a metered scoop on there, and you can load as many pounds of beads as you want in, and it will extrude it down. I have a guy on my Twitter page that makes a hopper hot end for the 3D printers, and basically you could just keep going and going and going. And that's another one of those. If you learn Arduino programming and how to use switches, you can use a photo switch to activate a relay to load the hopper. So every time the beads get so low in the hopper, the beads in the big hopper just dump into it. And you can program all that stuff in through Arduino programming and relays. So it's just little stuff to think about. I'm not telling you that that's the way to go. I'm just telling you, as I get more into it, if I get more prints and stuff like that, that's definitely where I'm going with it. And I'll go from there. My next order of business is actually to build a couple boxes around mine so that I can keep them. I'll heat them in the morning and then just move on from there. That seems to be about it, guys. Here's that finished. That's going to be the second pass. And that thing is going to look amazing. So imagine that on a mirror with a brown or black background, or maybe even a blood red. That thing will look great. Do candy red over it. And that's where we're at. So, what else we got out there, guys? If we don't have anything else, I'll end it. I'll end the show. All right, guys. Oh, hey, get your day started. Go do some welding and have a good day, Kev. And to all you other guys, have a good one.